Welcome to the Clique podcast. I'm Dani Watson, a mindset and manifestation expert and founder of the Clique, a company that helps women overcome their fears and limiting beliefs to create a life and business that they love. Within this podcast, I will help you get clear on what you want, identify the blocks that are holding you back, transform your mindset and raise your vibration so that you can co-create magic with the universe. If you are looking to design a life that truly sets your soul on fire and manifest more success and abundance, then you are in the right place. Good morning, ladies. Happy Monday. Hope you've all had a great start to your week. I'm recording this from a vineyard. I'm recording this from a vineyard in Mallorca where I am currently staying, and I'm actually outdoors recording this. So I'm hoping there's not going to be too much background noise. I was struggling to find a place to record where I wasn't going to be interrupted by my 2-year-old or by my 6-month-old. So I thought, why not actually just take myself into the vineyard itself? And I'm up early in the morning to do this because it gets super, super hot during the day. And yeah, what an amazing place to record a podcast from. Anyway, let's jump into today's episode, where this is really for any law of attraction, can't get my words out, law of attraction skeptics. Maybe you're a skeptic about whether or not the law of attraction works, or maybe you just need a little bit of a nudge in the right direction when it comes to your belief in the power of the universe. Maybe you're starting to question, is this real? Is this working? Is there any evidence that this actually is working? So I thought I would share with you for this episode some powerful experiments that you can try to help boost your faith in the universe. These are also really good experiments as well. If you're a coach and you are weaving law of attraction work into the work that you do with your clients, sometimes your clients may need that extra boost of faith as well. Okay, so these are great experiments that you could perhaps provide to your clients if you feel that they need perhaps assistance with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to walk you through the different experiments. These are all experiments that I've tried out personally, and they're just great, fun little kind of challenges that you can do just to show that the universe is always supporting you. Now, with full disclosure, I have not made up these experiments. In fact, these experiments have come from a book written by Pam Grout. Okay, now if you've not picked up her books, I would highly recommend you go check her out. You can find her books on Amazon. So it's Pam Grout, Grout, and that's where these experiments come from. So just want to give her full credit for these experiments. And yeah, as I said, I'm going to walk you through a couple of them. You can then go and try them out for yourselves. But before I start doing that, I want to actually share with you some other experiments which have been done by other people that again reinforce the idea that the law of attraction is always working, the universe is always supporting you. And one of those experiments, you may or may have not heard of this before, it's by somebody called Dr. Emoto. And really what this experiment does, it highlights the power of your words and your intention to create a different and more pleasant reality for yourself. So I've spoken about this many times on the podcast before. The idea that your words have energy, your thoughts have energy, your intention behind what you're doing has energy. And that energy is creating what is going to show up for you. It's creating your reality. And in this experiment by Dr. Emoto, what he did was he basically had 2 bottles of water, and each bottle of water was infused with either positive thoughts or positive words, or with the opposite, with negative words. So I can't remember the experiment exactly, but you can actually go and check it out on YouTube. But if I remember rightly, what happened was they had 1 bottle of water, and the label on that bottle of water was, let's say, love. The other bottle, it was a negative phrase, so let's say hate. But over time, what happened was the bottles were spoken to. So you either say really kind, loving words to that bottle, you're amazing, you're beautiful, I love you, you're wanted, you're worthy, you deserve everything you need. All of these beautiful, warming, loving, positive phrases and statements, whilst the other bottle was spoken to in a very negative way. You're rubbish, you're useless, you're disgusting, I hate you, very angry statements. Anyway, over time, what was really, really fascinating, the results of this experiment showed that the composition of the water, when the water was examined under a really strong microscope, had actually changed. And what was really fascinating was that the structure of the molecules of the water, when positive words were spoken to the water, it actually showed these really sort of beautiful patterns within the molecules, where the other bottle, the bottle that had, negative words said to it, if you looked at the structure of the molecules for that water, it was all sort of a bit kind of, not in pretty patterns, basically. Now, I've probably not really done this experiment justice. I would definitely recommend you go and watch it on YouTube. I've probably not explained it in the most scientific kind of way, but hopefully you get the point with it. The idea is that, positive words, positive intentions have the power to change your reality. Negative words, negative intentions can also change your reality as well. Okay? And so it's this idea that whatever we focus on, we are creating in our physical world. We can physically create changes through the power of our intention, through what we say, whether that be positive or negative. Then the other experiment that I've read about, but I can't remember for the life of me where I read about this experiment, but I often use it as an example of the power of your thoughts to change your physical reality. I often use this as an example with our students within the Clique Academy. But basically, in this experiment, there was 2 groups. Each group were told that over the next couple of weeks, they were going to exercise their fingers and then the muscles of their fingers were going to be tested after the 2 weeks. Now, the only difference was one of the group was actually going to be doing these sort of exercises with their fingers, so physically moving their fingers, whilst the other group were actually just going to imagine themselves doing these exercises with their fingers. Okay, so they were going to spend a little bit of time each day thinking in their head that their fingers were moving. They were doing these finger exercises, but when actually they weren't moving anything. So they were just using the power of their intention. They were visualizing. They were using the power of their mind. Okay, now after the 2 weeks was up, both parties, they were muscle tested. It was like before and after to test whether or not their muscle had increased within their fingers. Now, the group that were actually moving their fingers, of course, their muscle increased the most. But what was really fascinating was that the muscles within the fingers of the other group had also increased. Okay? So they hadn't actually been working out their fingers. They hadn't actually been doing anything with them. But the muscle mass had increased just by thinking about, focusing on doing those exercises. There was also a third group as well, so that they could have like a control group who didn't do anything. But that group where they just thought about doing the exercises, they thought about it, they visualized it, they had the intention internally of doing the exercises, their muscle mass had increased too. Okay, again, demonstrating the power of our mind to shape our physical world, shape even physical changes within our body just by using the power of your mind. Again, this is reinforcing this idea that whatever you want, you can create that just by thinking about it, okay? By thinking about it, by giving your focus and energy to it internally, you can see that change in your outside world. Now, let's dive into the experiments that you guys can try. And these are just really fun things that you can do to just help prove that the law of attraction is working. It's always working. The universe is always supporting you. And the idea is to just really have fun with these things. Don't take it too seriously. And again, these are from, if you want to check out Pam Grout, you can find her on Amazon. So first of all, again, going back to this concept that the universe is always supporting you. The idea with this first experiment is you're going to give yourself a period of time, let's say 24 hours, where you are going to ask for something, some kind of blessing, some kind of lovely blessing. So this might be somebody doing something unexpected for you. It might be you bumping into somebody or meeting somebody that's going to have, a big impact on your life, somebody that you really connect with. It might be receiving an unexpected amount of money. Quite often, especially when I was doing a lot of work on my money mindset, the receiving an unexpected amount of money, this was an experiment that I did often to help support me with my belief that the universe was wanting to provide for me and provide for me financially, and I was in the process of manifesting more and more abundance. So I would quite often just ask for random amounts of money to just show up in my life, unexpected money to show up. And it might just be a really small amount. It might be that you finding, let's say, a coin on the floor, 1p. What you're doing in this experiment, you're essentially recognizing where you are already being blessed by the universe. You are taking some time out, 24 hours, to try and start to focus on where you're already receiving blessings into your life. The idea being that when you start to recognize the good that you're already receiving, you then receive more and more. But again, the idea with this experiment is that, you're saying to the universe, okay, universe, I give you the space of 24 hours, show me what you've got, bless me with something. And then you start looking out for it. You start to look out for and expect something amazing to show up in your life. And again, that amazing thing could seem, actually, it might be a really, really small thing. So let's say you say to the universe, okay, I want you to bless me with unexpected money. It may be just finding, 1p on the floor. It may be, going to, let's say you go to a coffee shop and somebody ahead of you in the queue says, oh, actually, I'm going to get your coffee for you. It might be getting money off for something unexpectedly. Okay. What else could you ask for? What other blessing? It might be that, you ask the universe to bless you by sending somebody really amazing into your life. So maybe you bump into somebody, a really great friend that you've not seen in a long time. Or maybe you randomly bump into a new friend, somebody that you feel that you really connect with. So the idea is you ask the universe for a blessing and you watch and wait to see what happens in the next 24 hours. Okay, so get a little bit specific about the kind of blessing you want to receive. Is it money? Is it a new friendship? Is it something else? And then be open to receiving it. Be open to whatever comes up for you in the next 24 hours. Look for it, expect it, focus on it, keep thinking about it, and see what happens in that 24-hour period. Now, the other experiment, and this was something I actually I'd already done for myself, prior to me reading about this experiment. And it was an experiment that I started to use on my law of attraction journey, where I just wanted to just have something fun to do, to just test the idea that whatever you focus on, you create more of. Okay, so whatever you focus on expands. If you focus on what you want, you're going to get more of what you want. If you focus on what you don't want, you're just going to keep seeing more of what you don't want show up in your life. Okay, so for this purpose of this experiment then, again, it's a 24-hour experiment, so quick and easy, one day, let's see what the universe has got in store for me. And this time, you are going to pick something that you want to see show up. And you want it to be something that you don't necessarily see all the time. okay? And again, it's just evidence that whenever you tell the universe, okay, I want something, and then you start to focus on that, it is then more likely to start sending it to you in your existence. Now, this is one of those experiments actually that I remember when I was looking to purchase. It was my first sort of nice car. So once my businesses started to take off, I'd previously had like really crummy cars. I'd currently had my sister's like old hand-me-down car. My sister's younger than me, so I was getting her sort of like knockoffs, and it was a really old little Fiat Punto, which was very much on its last legs, or last wheels, should I say. So one of the things that I was manifesting through the success of my business was a new car, a more high-vibe car, and I was trying to figure out which car I wanted, and I didn't want a car that everybody else had. And so the car I thought that I wanted, or I did want at the time, was a Discovery Sport, because it was, a nice car, it was a spacious car, and it wasn't a car that I saw everywhere, or at least I didn't think I saw it everywhere, until I started to manifest it. And of course, through the process of manifesting, I was visualizing that car. I was thinking about that car. I had been out and test drived that car. That car was on my mind all the time, which of course you need to do, because when you want to manifest something, you want to focus on it. You want to kind of think about it as if it's already present in your life. Every morning I was imagining myself getting into that car, driving it. But what I then started to notice was that all of a sudden, everybody seemed to have that car. Everywhere I looked, that car was on the road. I'd see it, parked up at the car park next to me. I'd drive past it all the time. It felt like the car was everywhere. This was the law of attraction at work, but perhaps not necessarily in the way that I wanted it to be, given that the reason I wanted this car was because I thought not as many people had it. Anyway, I did get the car in the end. I did, of course, manifest that car, and I manifested it at very much a better price than what I probably should have paid for it as well. So that is the power of the universe at work. But this experiment then, it kind of works along this principle, the idea that you ask the universe to show you something specific, and then you watch and wait to see what shows up. And again, you want to ideally choose something that you're not going to see all the time. So maybe it's, a pink flamingo. Maybe it's a specific kind of bird in, a colour that you don't necessarily see all the time. Maybe it's, just something that is a little bit unusual that you just wouldn't expect to see as you go about your day-to-day life. And the idea is that you say to the universe, show me this thing, show me this pink flamingo. And then again, be open to seeing it, expect it, focus on it. Remember, what you focus on expands. Your reality is created by your expectation. Are you expecting that thing to show up? That's how you want to step into that day, with the expectation that that thing is going to show up for you. And again, have fun with this. See what shows up. Be open to it. Be observant. Start looking around. Start looking for evidence that what you are focusing on is already on its way. Because if you can do this with these experiments, you can do it with the real stuff, right? You can do it for the stuff that you actually want in your life. If you start to expect that success is going to come to you, it will start to come to you. If you start to expect money is going to start to come to you, and start looking for it, and start, focus on it, focusing on the abundance of what you want rather than the lack of it, you're going to get more of what you want. Okay, so again, a really great, fun, easy experiment for you to try. Now, this final experiment is a little bit more complicated. So what I would perhaps suggest you do if you are thinking about trying out this experiment is to check out the YouTube video. I think if you just type in coat hanger experiment law of attraction, it probably will come up on YouTube, I should imagine, just because it will then give you a demonstration of this experiment. But I will talk you through it just so you kind of get the general gist. And again, the idea here is to prove that your mind can bend your reality, the power of your thoughts to change your physical world. And again, this is an experiment that is from the book by Pam Grout. So you can check that out as well on Amazon. So to conduct this experiment then, you're going to essentially need 2 coat hangers. So what I'm talking about here is the wire hangers that you get. And what you're going to do, so it's a bit more complicated. What you want to do is you want to untwist the neck of each hanger, because what you're aiming for is to just get 2 straight wires, okay? So you ravel the hanger so you've got 2 straight wires, and then you're going to shape them into an L shape. So about 12 inches long for the main part, and then 5 inches for the handle, okay? So if you imagine an L shape, you'd be holding onto the handle bit, one side of the L, that would be sort of the 5 inches, the bottom of the L. Make that about 5 inches, and then 12 inches for the longer part. So you've basically got sort of these 2 kind of handles, wire handles that you're holding on to. What you're going to do is you're then going to cut a plastic straw. I don't know if this would work with something else. The reason being is I don't really want to start advocating people stop buying plastic straws. So maybe this would work with a paper straw, perhaps, or, a biodegradable straw. But the idea with this experiment is that you get a plastic straw and it's been cut in half. You then slide the handle you just bent inside the straws, okay? And then you're going to bend the bottom of the hanger to hold the straw in place. Again, it's a bit complicated, so if you want to do this experiment, perhaps have a little look on YouTube to see a sort of visual demonstration on this. What you're kind of left with then is these wands, these wire wands that you are then able to hold in front of you. And what you're going to do is you're going to observe how these wands move according to what you're thinking and how you're feeling. So when you think of something unpleasant, they will point inward, tip to tip. And when you think of something that feels good, your energy expands and the wands will point outwards. Okay, so it's an experiment to show positive thoughts create a certain outcome, and negative thoughts, negative energy create a different outcome. Okay, we can change our outcomes depending on what we're focusing on, depending on our energy, depending on what we're thinking about. Okay, so again, check out the video on YouTube, and another fun experiment to prove that the law of attraction exists. Does anybody else have any ideas? I would love to know, because I love testing these out, and I love actually giving them to our students as well to test out and to have a little bit of fun with. So if you've ever come across any law of attraction experiments that you've tried or that you've read about that, again, just seek to prove that the universe is supporting us, that our thoughts create our reality, that what we focus on expands. If you've got any that you'd love to share with me, please reach out on my Instagram, Dani_Watson_coaching, say hello. And also, if you do have any suggestions of episodes or things you would like me to cover on this podcast, please reach out and let me know. I'm all for hearing your ideas and your suggestions for what you'd like me to chat about. All right, ladies. Well, I will leave you to go have fun trying these experiments out. If you do try them out and, witness anything amazing, again, reach out to me on Instagram. I love to hear when you are having fun with the law of attraction and you are seeing wonderful things manifest into your life. So yeah, reach out to me on Instagram. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, ladies, and I will connect with you again very, very soon. Bye, ladies. If you are wanting to build your own successful online coaching business, make sure to check out Freedom, Abundance and Impact, our free 10-day business and mindset course for coaches and aspiring coaches. To access, simply head to wearetheclique.com and click free course in the menu.